Hey, this is Lonnie Silva, and this is Talking About Rock.
Okay, today's guest is best known for his work with the rock metal band Blacklist 9, which he co-founded in 2013 with his son Kyle. He has long been a respected force in the hard rock and metal community. Joining us now, let's welcome Lonnie Silva. Lonnie, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you so much for having me aboard. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So this new album here, Silva, is both a tribute and kind of like a rebirth all in one, they're saying.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, definitely.
And so you've got some veteran metal people on here with you. You got CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool, Stacey David Blades from LA Guns, and this is produced by Shawn McGhee, and he's worked with Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed. Some great folks you got on here, man. Tell us some more about this.
Yeah, so the last band, Blacklist 9, a friend of mine hooked me up with Shawn McGhee, and he produced our record. And then with this new album, you're aware of what happened with my son, kind of that story. My son was a lead guitar player for Blacklist 9, and tragically he passed away almost 3 years ago. So I took a time off from writing, doing anything, and when I started writing, I sent my material to Shawn McGhee, and he looked at it and listened to it and said, "Hey, you need to do an album." And so we started collaborating on what I've written. And then I mentioned to him, "Can you get any of your rock star friends to, maybe do a guest spot or something?" Because he knows everybody. And so, yeah, he rounded up these great guys, CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool and Stacey from LA Guns, formerly LA Guns. The drummer, RJ, the drummer, I'm sorry, Rob Pierce, I get all mixed up. He's in Flat Black, which is a band that's fronted by the former lead guitar player from Five Finger Death Punch, Jason Hook. On bass, we got AP Passarillo. He's got a kind of long name,
right?
But he played in Gemini Syndrome, and he plays in a band what's called Semi Rotted, which is the lead singer is Jeremy Spencer, the former drummer from Five Finger Death Punch, and the singer is Pete Ross, is from a band called Crashing Wayward, and they're up and coming. So he put the whole project together. And what eventually happened was these guys were just making my music sound. I was so happy with what they were doing that I decided to not play any instruments. I'd let them take over and do their magic. And I think they did an incredible job.
Yeah, definitely some standout tracks on here, like you're saying, from CJ Pierce of Drowning Pool. He's appearing on the track No More and I Am Silent, which sounds amazing, definitely for sure. And like you're saying, you got Jeremy Spencer on here, the former Five Finger Death Punch drummer. So very, very cool. And Rob Pierce from Flat Black. And we actually talked to Jason Hook last year when they first got Flat Black together, and he kind of told us about what's going on. But yeah, I really love their stuff. And you mentioned the other band, Crashing Wayward. They're definitely an upcoming band from what I've seen for them. Definitely some great stuff coming out for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I never heard of him, and Shawn McGhee was, hey, I got this singer, you got to listen to him and then check out the band. And yeah, I was totally blown away. And Pete did all the vocals on the album, and it's just, from the soft ballads to the commercially type rock to the heavy stuff, he just nailed it on every song, nailed it.
Yeah, definitely very cool tracks on here for sure. Well, let's review a little bit of the Blacklist 9 history, some folks, if folks are not familiar with it. So you guys formed this in 2013. You and Kyle put that together. In 2014, the band recorded their first demo titled Madness, I think, at Busy Signal Studios. You guys did that. And in 2016, the band began writing new material. And you kind of
Yes.
you wanted to take it in a different direction, I think, from what was said. So you recruited a different vocalist on here. You got Graham Fletcher on vocals and Ray Burke on bass at that point to do
Yeah.
that. So that kind of changed the sound and direction. And then in 2017, you guys actually got a spot opening up for John 5 at the Whiskey in LA.
Yes. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
had to be an amazing show. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
That was being a big fan of John 5. Opening for him was totally an honor, but getting to watch him and like a sound check and his just the way he plays was amazing, and it was a great show. And I can't thank them enough to letting us open for John 5 over there. It was definitely a great show.
Yeah, definitely such a historic place out there. So many cool bands have been through there, and you've done some other stuff here as well. I was reading through some more of your history. So you had your song "Mental Hostage" was featured in a USA Network TV show Shooter.
Yes, yeah, it was. I work in the movie and TV industry. I'm a studio driver, and the person who created Shooter, I showed him the music, and he really liked it. And he said, "Let me see if I can put, one of your songs on there." And he did, and it was cool. We were blown away. That was the beginning of things starting to happen for Blacklist 9 at that time.
Yeah, I think that's the sweet spots for so many bands. You want to try to get your tracks in a movie, a TV show, or even video games. Video games is a huge thing nowadays. I know from so many, younger guys, that play games and stuff, and they hear all these different tracks and become, more familiar with that stuff. And I was also reading you also got a chance then to open for Accept at the Canyon Club then later that year.
Yeah. We opened. They opened a venue close to my house, and we were able to be like the opening band for all these rock bands coming in. They would call us, say, "Hey, you want to open for so and so?" So we opened for Accept, and that was a lot of fun. I can't remember the guitar player, the original guitar player from Accept, the tall guy with the bald head. I hate saying that. Anyways, he when we were done tearing down our equipment outside, he came over and asked who's the drummer, and I said, "Hey, that was me," and he's like, "Oh," he goes, "I love you guys."
I think you're talking about Wolf Hoffman, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Wolf Hoffman.
And the song "Madness" has a bell that's pretty prominent in the song, and he came over and said, "That song with the bell." He goes, I thought it was a dinner bell. I kept looking for food. I was looking around, looking who's bringing the food. But he did like us. He complimented us, and that was great. That was great. And that same venue, we opened for Lita Ford. We opened for Quiet Riot when great Frankie Banali was still with them. We opened, gosh, who else? Quiet Riot, Accept. Oh, Vince Neil. We opened for Vince Neil when he was doing his solo stuff, and it's great opening for these bands. And what's great for Blacklist 9 was getting the compliments from these guys that they liked what we were doing, and then they were really impressed with the father-son thing. They were impressed that that's your kid up there. That's great. That is really cool.
Right, because that's something they probably always were like, "Oh, I wish I could have had that, or had someone, from my family in there doing stuff with me or doing that." And that's amazing when I hear that from some of these opening bands, and they're playing with these, more well-known artists, and then they treat them so well. That's so good to hear, because sometimes that's really not the case, right?
Oh, yeah.
And back in the day, that really wasn't. Maybe in the 80s, maybe you didn't get a sound check, or you got you got a super small chunk of the stage, or maybe they even said, "Oh, you guys don't get any lights," or right, you didn't run into any of that. It doesn't sound like.
Oh yeah, no, that I've seen that firsthand opening for back in the day when in on the Sunset Strip when you had the Whiskey Rocks, you had Gazzari's, you had the Troubadour. We played all those venues, and we would open up for the local headliner, and we got no room. My drums had to be set up on the side of the stage, not in the middle, and we got a crappy sound check. No, it's yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, that's brutal. And I've seen it too, like where like you're trying to get the other band's like setting up their stuff as you're still performing or stuff like that, and it just takes away from the show if you
Oh
don't.
yeah.
Sometimes you have to do that, right? You don't have the room. They don't have the room if it's a small stage. But yeah, that was definitely the glory days with especially Gazzari's back in the day, right? That was another super club back there.
Yeah, I mean, the Gazzari's, the whole strip back in the '80s. That's my time. We would see. I would go see Poison, Motley Crue, all these bands that hadn't made it yet, but they were the big draws in Hollywood. And Rat. I saw so many people, so many bands that now are did very well. I wish I was in one of those bands or one of my bands took off like how they did. So
Yeah, there was so
it was a
much
great time.
competition back then. And the competition was kind of weird. It was before all this internet and streaming and Facebook, and it was all about flyers, right? And I read a lot of stories about Poison. They would go out real late at night and they would repaper everything with their flyers and take everybody else's flyers down.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was true. I saw that, and their flyers were in fluorescent colors, so you couldn't miss them. Everybody else was doing just a black and white flyer with the band picture. Poison was putting fluorescent green, pink, all these bright colors, and just blasting everywhere. They're putting stuff up, and you notice Poison big time.
Yeah, right. He was definitely great at that. Bret Michaels doing that,
Yeah.
and
Oh
obviously
yeah.
the other standout, one you mentioned there, Motley Crue, just a huge standout band back in the day. Just kind of let the strip on fire, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw there was a magazine here in Los Angeles called BAM, and it was mostly intended for local bands to advertise, and they would do interviews of local bands. But you would see where the bands are playing, and there'd be full page ads of the bands, whatever. And this one of Motley Crue showed up. I'm like, who are these guys? And so I went to see them, and yeah, I was hooked. And at that time, I had short hair like I have now, but once I saw Motley Crue, I grew my hair out like Nikki Sixx, and I went that whole direction.
I think Nicky used to light himself on fire back in the day on those
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
too.
yeah. He did. Yeah, he lit himself on fire. For being a band, upcoming band, and headlining these venues here. There were 500 seat venues, certain places. They put on such a show. I mean, I knew these guys were going to be big, and I'm so glad I got to see them several times before they made it big. Yeah.
Did you see that change when that change happened and the hard rock, switched gears and the grunge stepped in and all this kind of started to get the brakes put on with that? Were you out there to see any of that change or notice any of that change?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely saw that, and even I went to making my hair just long, straight, not blasted, teased up anymore. I just went with
Right. It
the
was
flat
different
hair.
style. You had to have the different
That's what
style.
everybody was
Yeah.
doing. So yeah, I definitely saw the change big time, and everybody just rushing to be the next Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. That's what was happening in Hollywood, and the hair days were gone. There was a couple bands that were still trying to do the hair thing, but they kind of went by the wayside.
Yeah, and I know a lot of bands, they had to pay to play back then to get into a lot of those clubs. That was the deal. There was just so many bands trying to do something. There was a lot of that going on as well.
Oh yeah, it was. They still do it now. It's still pay to play at the Whiskey, all these places. It was brutal because it's hard to get when your band's up and coming and it's a Wednesday night in Hollywood. You have to sell 20, 30 tickets. To play, you can't get nobody out there at that time. So a lot of the tickets that we did, we would buy them ourselves and then just hand them out and say, hey, get free, free show, come see us, come see us. We were putting money, buying our own tickets and putting them out there.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really definitely hard, and we've seen it turn into something really difficult nowadays. Obviously, with the growth of streaming and physical media not really selling like it used to back in the day. Now we have concert tickets, that's like $1,000 a pop or whatever, or $500 a pop, and the fans don't understand that. It's because artists are not getting really making any money on their music anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's so sad. You put something out, like I just put my new album out, and I don't know what people. It's been out, so they can go to Spotify and download it, or whatever, wherever it's at, they can get it for free, and that's kind of hard, and thinking that that's how things are now. The only thing to make your money is to go on tour and sell your merchandise. That's the only way you're going to make money.
Yeah, yeah, and I've even seen that kind of get tapped into where certain venues they want to have like a cut of some of these bands' merch, right? And that's like again, that's like some of the only ways that people are making money. I had a previous interview before this, and they're selling great merch at their shows, but some of these places now they get a cut of that.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard, I have actually heard that they the venues now want percentage of the sales, of merchandise sales, and that's just wrong. They're making the money on the on the ticket sales, and the venue itself, the building, the alcohol and the food and everything, and they still want more money. It's sad.
Yeah, it's just definitely so hard for musicians, definitely. So, as this album's already out, are you working on the next project or new music, or what are your thoughts moving forward?
Well, I want to see what this album does. We're still going to push it some more out there, and um, with the new video coming out next week and stuff, see how it does. I've already written. I'm honest. I'm totally 100% honest here. I have about 80 songs of lyrics and written already, and I have about 30 songs music ready that I can put together, and I really would like to do another record, because I really like this new stuff I have. It's once again, it's in the same style of this album, but I just love this new material that I'm writing, and hopefully work with Shawn McGhee again, and bring out some players to play on it. But on this album, on this next record, I want to play drums on it, and rhythm guitar, maybe even the bass on a couple of tracks, and then let the other guys just put their magic on it.
Yeah, definitely did a great job with this. So we definitely look forward to what you got going on next. Very, very cool.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Robert. Good. Thank you for having me aboard. I appreciate it. You have no idea.
Yep. So the new album Silva is out now, and you can check out the video for Try. There'll be a link for that in our Hall of Video at talkingboutrock.com. All right. So that wraps up this episode of Talking About Rock. Thanks to my guest today, Lonnie Silva, and to our audience. We hope you're doing your part by keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are. Lonnie, again, thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.